This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Tuesday, November the 27th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, some of the country's border security officers are crying out for the government to come to their rescue as a matter of urgency. At least one of them from the Customs Department, who dared to speak to Barbados Today, albeit anonymously, complains of not being paid their shift allowance and overtime money this month, and has even been told there wouldn't be any next month either. The customs officer said ever since about 10 people were retrenched from the accounts department as part of the ongoing restructuring program, there's no one to process their payments. The officer, who said she has a mortgage, car, and family to support, lamented while on the verge of tears that she only received $400 in salary this month, yet her bills are backing up and debtors breathing down her neck. Leader of the Unity Trade Union, Senator Caswell Franklin, whose organization represents some of the customs officers, is accusing the government of failing to care and should relook its selection process.
These people in the public service are being devastated by the actions of this uncaring government. Nobody in Barbados elected the administration to be this callous. They don't care, and they're just sending home people based on some IMF formula that they worked out that the public service should have a certain amount of people in it. But they're not trying to save money, they're trying to have fewer bodies. So they're more people at the bottom, so they're taking people from the bottom. People who are actually doing the work. So you have instances where they send home people in registry who collect the money. They're not about to do it. They're not doing it with any sort of rhyme or reason. They're just taking the people and sending them home.
Meanwhile, 75 workers identified for retrenchment from the Barbados Water Authority are to be released by the end of this week. However, the composition could change as some other colleagues have also volunteered to leave the Pine St. Michael government-run entity. In making the announcement at a press conference Monday, General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Senator Tony Moore, said this number, which represents at least 10% of the 748 to 750 strong staff complement, is likely to end up at less or even be contained because several other employees have volunteered to go. Senator Moore said once all of the voluntary separation information was in, management and the BWU may come to recognize that a worker who opted to leave from a particular section may make it possible for another colleague selected for retrenchment to stay.
They had signaled that there would be a second phase or another phase. There may need to be another phase of restructuring down the road. But this is the first important step that they've taken to see how far that could take the Water Authority towards achieving the objectives that have been set, because like other statutory boards now that have been taken off of the responsibility, separated from the responsibility of central government, they now have to keep their books current. So we will see how far this takes us.
Meanwhile, the union leader said that having concluded the retrenchment process with the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and the Rural Development Commission, the BWU is yet to hold full discussions with the Transport Board, Caves of Barbados, and the National Sports Council.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Another prison officer in Trinidad has been caught attempting to smuggle marijuana into the maximum security prison at Aruca. The incident occurred on Sunday afternoon. The accused, a 28-year-old, was caught with the 2 packets of marijuana hidden in his crotch area at the maximum security prison by the superintendent of prisons. A further search of the prison officer's car revealed an additional 2 packets of marijuana. In more regional news now, Castries Mayor Peterson Francis says the safety of locals and visitors should not be the sole responsibility of city police officers. Peterson Francis stated that the police force and the office of the mayor must work hand in hand to combat crime in the city.
Castries Mayor Peterson Francis says he will continue to make the city extremely safer. Christmas is almost 1 month away, and law enforcement officers and city police officers may have to double their efforts to help curb perhaps violent crime in the capital. So what plans does the office of the mayor have for the city this festive season?
Well, that's one of the reasons if the Commissioner of Police was accepting my invitation for us to meet. These are things that we have to discuss. Because St. Lucians have all of a sudden forgotten that they are regular police. And everything now is on the city police. I don't have a problem, because my first speech as becoming mayor, when I was sworn in, I said, no, the city is ours. And protecting the city is ours. And the police should complement us.
And on the global scene, General Motors Company said Monday it will cut production of slow-selling models and slash its North American workforce because of a declining market for traditional gas-powered sedans, shifting more investment to electric and autonomous vehicles. But the decision has President Donald Trump furious.
Layoffs and plant shutdowns in the biggest restructuring of General Motors since the company went bankrupt during the financial crisis a decade ago.
This country's done a lot for General Motors. I'm not happy about it.
We are disappointed by GM's decision regarding their plant in Oshawa.
GM announcing Monday that it plans to cut roughly 14,000 jobs across the U.S. and Canada.
I've been here 28 years. I've been through a closure in Scarborough. I've been through a closure in London. I moved my family twice for this company. And they do this to me. It's terrible.
Shut 5 plants across the 2 countries and is targeting more plant closures for some time after 2019. Reuters correspondent Dave Shepardson.
What this is principally driven by is that Americans have fled cars, have shifted to crossovers and SUVs, in part because those vehicles have largely the same or similar fuel economy. People generally like to be in those bigger, taller vehicles, and they can haul more goods around.
At the same time, industry-wide car sales are dropping, down 13% through September compared to an 8% surge in SUV and truck sales. Costs are going up due to the aluminum and steel tariffs imposed by the Trump administration.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now, you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.